Hey guys, it's Dylan back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking all about the tools that I use every day to operate my successful web design agency. Now, why do I feel qualified to talk about this? I have probably spent weeks of my time at this point using different tools, trying them out and trying to really find this magic bullet solution. I thought that if I looked hard enough, I would find this one perfect tool out there that would handle everything from client onboarding to task management to communication, payments, everything. Unfortunately, the search for this magical tool that would do every single thing I needed in my business just led me to dead end after dead end. It was like looking for a unicorn and I just never found it. So in the end, what I ended up doing was actually picking individual tools that I knew are best in class for specific parts of my business. So anything from sales to project management to billing and invoicing clients, I now have a dedicated tool which is designed exclusively to do those types of tasks and really just simplifying everything. With so many things in business, simplicity is key, and I cannot stress it more when it comes to softwares and trying to find products and tools that you're going to use to help you run your business. So I thought the most logical way of kind of categorizing these softwares and running you through them is almost from the perspective of a client. So everything from when a client first inquires with us that we're using right up until the point when they leave us and the project is complete and handed over. So let's start with the inquiry. Now, if you don't already know, I run a web design agency. We specialize in custom Squarespace websites. And so we get most of our work through either platforms that we work through or direct through our website. Now, those are coming through contact forms pretty much, and they just go straight into our inbox, which brings me onto the first tool that we use, and that is for professional email, but also a lot more, which I'll come onto. We use Google Workspace. Now, Google Workspace and Gmail is just super easy to use. Everyone knows how to use it, right? It gives you so much more though than just email. You get Google Docs, Google Sheets, and even Google Meets, which is what we use for video calls so that we don't have to have a separate Zoom subscription. It is honestly so simple and so basic, but I can't even believe that back in the day we used to buy like a Microsoft Office package to do everything that Google Drive can now do. And that brings me on to the second software which we use, which is actually for scheduling appointments. So typically when a client reaches out to work with us, we'll normally set up a video call with them just to discuss the scope of their project and really whether we're a good fit for each other. For that, we use Calendly. I have tried a bunch of different call scheduling tools, but what Calendly does is it makes it super simple for clients to book time on your calendar based on availability that you set in the back end. It is probably the most simple scheduling tool I've used, and they have both a free plan and a paid plan. So we use this for booking meetings, and we've got this fully integrated with our Google account. So meetings go straight onto the Google Calendar, and calls are actually set up already with a Google Meet link. So all we need to do at the time of the appointment is open up the event, click the link to join the call, and it's as simple as that. Now, for actually tracking all of these leads that are coming in, we do have a CRM. I wouldn't say everybody needs this at the start, but if you do start to get more volume coming in, it's super helpful, especially if you're bringing on other team members to support with part of your sales process. So we use Pipedrive. There is a bunch of tools out there, and I've probably spent most of my time looking at the different options for CRM specifically. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management if you're not familiar, and really it just helps you track your leads. So anyone who inquires about working with you, you can kind of track where that deal, that opportunity is within your sales process, whether they've just got in touch with you, whether you got back to them, whether you've had a meeting with them, what the value of the deal may be. And it's really, really helpful as you basically scale up and, like I said, get more volume coming in terms of leads. Like I said, I don't think you need this straight away, but if you are interested in it and you are looking to grow your business, let me know if a video on how our sales process works would be helpful, and I'm more than happy to put that together. We've now covered Google Workspace for any client communication, document creation, meetings, calendars, all that good stuff, Calendly for scheduling appointments, and Pipedrive for tracking our leads and our whole sales CRM. But what about when a client actually wants to work with us? Well, we need to send them an invoice, and for that we use Xero. Xero is just the tool that my accountant suggested that we use. They use it for bookkeeping, tax returns, all that sort of stuff, but we can also use it to invoice our clients. And we've actually also got Stripe, which I kind of count as a separate tool, connected into that. Stripe is just a payment gateway. It's kind of like PayPal, and it really just allows us to accept card payments from clients. So if we've had a meeting and we've sent a client a proposal via, let's say, Google Docs, and they want to go ahead, typically we would send them a deposit invoice via Xero and with the ability to pay that using Stripe. Now, the next step in our process, just at a high level, is onboarding. So once a client is ready to get started, we will send them a form to complete, and that form feeds directly into a task management system or a project management system, which for us is ClickUp. Now, I've also spent a ton of time researching different project management and task management tools. ClickUp is something that I was recommended, and to be honest, at first I hated it, but now that it's all kind of set up and I'm used to it, it is really, really helpful. I wasn't actually using any project management tool before we set up ClickUp, but it was chaotic. I think it works fine if you're at a smaller scale, but again, as you grow, it does make sense to install a system to just help with managing projects, tracking where you are at with each of those. And one of the great things about ClickUp is it allows you to have forms. So that form that I send them, an onboarding form essentially, is created within ClickUp, and we just ask them a few questions about their business, things we may not have already covered on that initial discovery call. And as soon as they submit that form, a new project is created automatically in ClickUp. We can then assign that to a designer, and we can break that project down into subtasks, which may be things like initial designs, feedback, development, testing, anything like that, which goes into the process of designing and launching a website. And that brings me on to the next tool that we use, which is called Markup. Now, once we've got some initial designs done and we want to get client feedback, I previously used to just send a PDF and a client would either create a Word document, they would send me a really long email. We had no efficient way of gathering feedback from clients, especially on designs. So Markup is this tool that I was introduced to by a mentor of mine. Shout out Sam if you're watching. It is a tool that allows clients, well, allows us actually to share a link with a client, and then they can just annotate it with their comments. It makes gathering feedback so much easier. And so that is pretty much the only tool that the client has to use throughout this process. I know a lot of freelancers and agency owners like to get their clients to use things like Asana, ClickUp, and invite them into their project management tool. But when I've tried that before, it was just an absolute mess. I would not recommend it unless you're extremely, extremely confident that your clients will actually use it. From the client's perspective, I just think it's a bit of a pain. And, as a client, I don't want to have to do any extra work to get this project completed, right? That I've hired an agency for, or I've hired a freelancer for. That's why I'm paying somebody. So for me and the way I see it, it just makes so much more sense if they can use email, which they're already comfortable with using for communication. And then we deal with all of the admin, all of the task management on the back end in a tool that they don't even have to worry about. And that brings me on to our final tool, which we use to keep everything running smoothly on the back end, and that is Slack. Slack is only really needed, I would say, if you've got a team that you want to communicate with. I know, again, some agencies bring their clients into this. I'm not a huge fan of it because it tends to set the expectation that they can expect an instant reply from you. But Slack is almost like WhatsApp, but for teams. It just allows you to better organize chats, conversations, and you can create these channels, which are basically like group chats, and use those to talk about specific topics. So Slack is basically what I just use all day to message back and forth with my team. And it's been amazing. I've used that from the very early days when I first brought in kind of freelancers to support me on projects. And it also just helps with keeping your work separate from your personal life, right? You don't mix WhatsApp. If you're using WhatsApp, your work life is mixed with your personal life, and Slack, I know I log into that, I'm only talking about work. So I would highly recommend that. We may actually look at moving that into ClickUp as well, again, in the spirit of simplifying things because they've now got chat built in. But they didn't when we set this all up, and Slack has been great. So no immediate plans to leave that just yet. And I think that is pretty much everything. We don't really use many more tools than that, and I don't think most agencies need to be using anything more than that. We've basically covered anything from initial communication with clients, tracking the status of a lead or an opportunity through your sales process, onboarding them and collecting payment, managing the tasks, gathering feedback, and communication with the team. If you have anything more than that, I think you're just creating inefficiency, and as we all know, that's expensive. So we don't want to do that. I hope this was helpful. I'm going to link the software that I've mentioned in this video below. They're not affiliate links. I'm not getting paid to say any of this. I just thought it would be helpful for anyone else out there. If you'd like me to do a deeper dive, like I mentioned with the kind of sales CRM, into more of how we actually use those tools, let me know. Would really welcome any suggestions and feedback for new video ideas, because I'm still getting used to this whole new content thing. But I hope this is helpful. If you did enjoy this video, drop a like below, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and if you do have any questions, as always, feel free to drop me a message on Instagram. I will leave my socials in the description below. Okay, that's it from me. Thanks so much for watching.